Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Cyelee Cat Pro pistol red dot. I have it mounted here on my SIG P365 XL. It's one of the handguns that didn't have an optic on it yet, so I thought it would be a perfect platform for this test today. Right off the top here, guys, I am not sponsored by Cyelee. They are not paying me anything to do this review, but they did send the optic to me to review. That's not going to change my opinion on it. I'm going to give you guys as fair of a review as I possibly can. I will point out that I am not an expert. I'm just a guy that likes to shoot a lot. If you do want to pick up the Cyelee Cat Pro, I do have a coupon code that's good on Amazon for this optic specifically, and that is Outdoor C10, and that'll get you 10% off the Cyelee Cat Pro. That code is not good for any other optic, and it's not good on their website, just on Amazon. So check it out if you guys would. It'll let Cyelee know that you guys are viewers of my channel. Again, this is their Cat Pro. This is an RMSC cut optic. Again, I've got it direct mounted here to my 365 XL, so it'll go on all of the Optics Cut 365s, and again, anything cut for that RMSC footprint. Cyelee, and I'm not sure if I'm saying the name of the company right. They make several different optics. This is in the Cat line. They've got the Cat Pro, and the Cat X Pro. They initially said they were sending me the X Pro, but the Cat Pro is what showed up. From what I can tell from their website, the only difference between them is about $50 in price and a changeable reticle. This Cat Pro just has a plain dot in the middle, which is perfectly fine for me. I really don't have any reason for the other reticles. So this one I think will work out just fine. So let's look at what's on the box here. It says right on the front what footprint it's for. That's nice. You got window size and dimensions on this side, and a features list on this side. So let's see, it's got an optional lockout mode. List the footprint there again. 8 daylight, 2 night vision settings, motion deactivated standby, shake awake. That's a great feature. I like to have that on all of my red dot type optics. Up to 50,000 hours battery life on a CR1632, according to what they say. And here's where they lost me. The last line says sub half MOA infinite adjustments. That's
not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
This shows me very clearly, while they may have had folks that knew what they were doing designing the optic, they didn't have somebody that knew what they were doing writing the packaging. I'm sure this is designed to have half MOA adjustments, and then somebody who heard somebody talking about half MOA on the internet heard them talking about sub half MOA, referring to group size, and put that on the package about the adjustments. Also, you cannot possibly have infinite adjustments on an optic. Not possible. Anyway, that stood out to me on the packaging right away. It is a 3 MOA dot, and it is a red dot. They also offer a version with a green dot, I believe. So yeah, that is the packaging. Inside the box, there are 8 different types of screws, and I think that should pretty much cover you on any gun you want to mount this to. They also included this little decal for glass, I believe, an instruction manual, lens cloth, a zeroing card, which for newbies, this could be really useful, and it is accurate. And then a card referring to their recommended zero, showing what'll happen if you zero at 5, 10, and 25 yards. And from what I understand, this is actually a pretty accurate description. They do suggest zeroing at 25 yards so that everything lines up as close as you can get it. The other thing they include in the box is a kind of a rubberized cover, just in case you wanted to put that on. So that's a little bit of an overview of the packaging. I will be reviewing this optic on its physical merits alone and not necessarily by branding. You guys should know that this is the first published video review I'll be doing on a product that was sent to me. So again, I want to thank Cyelee for that opportunity. I have not watched any other reviews on this optic, and that is on purpose. I wanted this review to be 100% my own and not influenced by what other folks have to say. When I get done recording the main part of this, I'm gonna go watch a couple other reviews on it. Specifically, I think the Humble Marksman has a review on this optic. I'm gonna go watch them to see if there's anything that I missed talking about and things that I should check out specifically on this optic. And if there's anything like that, I'll throw it in at the end of the video. I have shot about 70 rounds so far with the optic mounted. I did a quick zero last night at about 25 yards. We'll go double check our zero probably at 10 and 25 yards, see what it's like. Then we're gonna beat up on this optic a little bit. We're gonna shoot about 100 rounds through it today, and we'll check the zero at the end and make sure that it's held zero. So let's start out doing that. I've got a dot here on the left that will check zero to begin with, and then we'll shoot a group at the end over here at this dot to see if we're still in about the same spot. All right, we're down here on the part of the range that I use for shooting paper targets. I am 10 yards away from it here. We'll take a group. I am shooting S&B 124 grain. This is pretty much my standard go-to factory ammo for just about everything 9mm. I suppose I'll show you the optic itself up close before we get going too far here. So you can see it's a fairly standard looking pistol optic. We've got elevation adjustments there on the top, windage adjustments there on the right side of it. Brightness settings on this side, and then over here we've got a slide out battery tray, which is nice. You don't have to take the optic off to change the battery. It is a fairly sharp looking optic. It doesn't look cheaply designed. I'm curious to see if these screws, if you can get at these screws with the rim of a cartridge. I'm thinking we're gonna need a screwdriver to make adjustments to these. I used a screwdriver last night, not even thinking to try out a cartridge. Tell you what, we'll check clear here, and let's see if I can get at this. No, I cannot get at the elevation screw with the rim. I can adjust windage with the rim of a cartridge. It's got a built-in shallow rear sight here, which actually lines up pretty well with the front sight for me. That's gonna be usable in case the dot goes dead. And the screw for elevation adjustments is right inside that, so I can't get to it with the rim of a cartridge. Not a huge deal, but I kind of wish that adjustment was over to the side a little bit so that we could, you know, get at it without having to use a tool. That's a minor nitpick. The window size is really generous for this size of optic. From how it looks to me anyway, I was expecting smaller. And the entire thing is usable. Look at that, get the dot right to the edge. And even maybe just a little bit past all the way around, I was able to still see the dot on the edge of the box. See what I mean, like right on that edge. So yeah, the entire window is usable. I'm not gonna be gentle on this optic at all. I'm gonna start out using it exactly like I would use my own optics. So I'm probably gonna rack it off the optic. In a little bit, we're gonna beat it up a little bit harder and see if it holds zero. All right, I have not shot at all yet today, so we'll see how I do. All right, let's go take a look. And it's not too bad for 10 yards with a micro compact handgun. I'm gonna say the zero is good enough. The shots that went left were probably my trigger control. So yeah, not a bad little group. Let's step back to 25 and see if I can hold it in roughly that area. All right, 25 yards, and this is gonna be more of a test of my shooting than of the optic, but we're gonna put 100 rounds through it anyway, right? That one I know I pulled low and left. Probably did that one too. Shooting with a dot is kind of nice because if your eye's quick enough, you can see what the dot does immediately before the shot breaks. right, I don't know how many shots that is, but let's look at the target. Yeah, not my best shooting for sure. We've got some kind of all over there, and that was the shot that I know I pulled. Most of them are, yeah, somewhat in there. I'm gonna call that 0 good enough for now. We're about 15 yards here. We'll do some plinking on steel. Oh, that was my last shot. Okay, target is down there at 50 yards now. All right, and that's 50 rounds, and we're making hits at 50 yards. Let me grab the next box of ammo and we'll move back a little bit further. All right, we're at about 90 yards here, which is about as far as I can get. I'm gonna be taking a few shots at that 12-inch round that's hanging on there, which is the biggest steel target I've got. I've just got a glimpse of it over the kind of a hill that I'm shooting over. Let's see if I can make some hits. Again, I should probably mention that whether or not I make hits has nothing to do with the optic. I'm just having a little fun here and putting some rounds through it. I've got 10 rounds loaded in the magazine. If I get any hits here at 90 yards, I'm gonna be, well, I'll be a little surprised. I see the spot on that hill that I'm hitting right below the target. I got to bring my hold up just a little bit. Be interesting to try this on a gun with a little bit better trigger. I don't mind the 365's trigger most of the time, but when trying to take really precise shots, it's really long and spongy, stagey. I don't know quite how to say that. Hey, there's a hit. There's 3. All right, 3 out of 10 at 90 yards is not too shabby for my shooting and that trigger anyway. I'm gonna be happy with that. We'll put 2 more mags through it here at 15 or so, and then we'll beat this thing up a little bit. All right, there was a quick 20 rounds. These are 12 round mags, but I only had them loaded up to 10. Okay, mags out, gun is clear. Got a little piece of furring strip here. I'm just gonna whack on it a little bit. Okay, the dot may not be in exactly the same spot it was before. All right, let's put a quick few rounds through it here. All right, so if it is off, it's not enough to matter on a I think it's a quarter size IPSC. I'm not really sure. It's about 8 inches wide. We're gonna beat on this a little more and then put it on paper. All right, we are clear. No magazine. We're back in the shade, which I'm glad for because it's gonna be 90 degrees today and it's moving that way quickly. It is quite hot in the sun. I'm gonna beat on this a little bit more. I'm not gonna drop it directly onto a steel plate. I don't think that's realistic. Cyelee doesn't have this one marked as drop proof on their website. So though they do have some of their optics marked that way, I'm gonna beat it fairly good though. Which should simulate just about any typical knockarounds it would get. Dot is still on. The dot may have moved just a little bit to the left in the window, which would put my shots right. I noticed that when I checked it after beating it first. It hasn't moved since then. That just might be where it looks like the dot's sitting in the window compared to the sight on the back here and the front notch. We're gonna put it on paper and see. That shot I pulled to the left. I watched the dot wander off to the left as I got the trigger squeeze. Okay, let's take a look at it. Okay, so here's my group off to the right. You'll remember my initial group was centered to maybe just a little bit off to the left. So the dot did move a little bit. Let's re-zero it, beat it up again, and then shoot for the A zone here. I'll use the cartridge to move it 2 clicks to the right. All right, the clicks, especially with Ear Pro on, are not, you can feel them a little bit and you can hear them a little bit. That appears to be centered on the sights now. Let me take one shot at the head box here and see if it looks like it is. Yeah, that looks pretty well centered. So let's beat it up again and see if the dot moves again. Okay, the dot has now moved over to the left. Let me put a couple on the head box here. I'll get more ammo if I have to. All right, I'll grab another box of ammo after this so we can double check that this is what's happening. But, so that was, I had a shot there, and I think one here. So we're definitely over to the left, not super drastically. Let me grab another box of ammo and we'll keep running through this. All right, I've got 30 more rounds loaded into magazines. My shooting wasn't the best on that last group on the head box, so I'm gonna take a few at the middle of the target. I have pasted it, at least what's in the A zone in the head box, so we're gonna shoot for the A zone right now. Okay, we seem to be mostly re-zeroed, just hitting a little bit to the left. We're gonna unload it and just keep beating on it. You can see I've chewed this stick up pretty good beating on the optic, so I'm not being gentle on it. Pieces of wood flying all over the place. Gotta get the wood chips out of my action there. Okay, the dot is now way over to the right. It hasn't come, the optic has not come loose. The dot position relative to the sights can't be changed by manually torquing on the optic. I'm gonna aim for the orange dot on the right, and I bet we're gonna hit near the center again. That was interesting. I wanna show you something. Those were all good, good shots. I was shooting well. The first shot went clear over here. Then as I looked through my optic, I saw the dot moving back the right direction. So the next shot was here, and the next 3 were in this little group. I'm gonna paste these up. Again, it is slightly to the left now, and even, maybe about the same as it was before. Let me paste all these up and we'll repeat it again. Okay, we're empty. The dot's just a little to the right, so our shots are going a little bit left. I've pasted the center of the target. The only shots that I've left on there are from our first group at 10 and 25. That looks like the dot's right where it was before. I'll shoot for that orange dot again. All right, there's my 5 shots at 10 yards. Not too shabby of a group if I do say so myself. And it looks like we're back to pretty much 0. The dot still does look just a little to this side. I'm gonna look at this really close. Yeah, the dot has moved again back over to the left, so it's nearly centered now, and you can see that by the group, or the location of the group rather. Once again unloaded. It appears the dot's in the same place. Okay, I don't always shoot as well as that little group as you see right here, but the dot stayed in place and it's still within my margin of accuracy. I could go on shooting that test all day, but let's wrap things up. Please wait until you've seen the entire conclusion bit here to understand my full picture of this optic. The dot itself is as clear as a pistol dot could be, I think, with my astigmatism. It's very shootable, and it doesn't have any refresh issues that some other optics have had. The brightness settings are very usable in both high light and low light conditions. It's very bright out today, and I didn't have it anywhere near the brightest setting when I was shooting out at 90 yards in full sun. So plenty of brightness setting options. I just did a quick check of their website, and to their credit, they don't have anything on their website about sub half MOA infinite adjustments, which of course is inaccurate. I really like it. I really appreciate Cyelee sending this to me for review. I am gonna keep this thing, and I'm gonna continue having fun shooting with it. Am I going to carry it right now? No, probably not. And that's simply because it did have that zero shift issue, and I don't have enough rounds through a gun with this mounted to trust it 100%. It seems to be pretty good, it seems to be pretty well built, but I'm not gonna carry it for right now. That's my personal decision. This dot is gonna live on my DD43X with a PSA micro dagger slide that is cut for the same optic footprint. If you guys wanna see that gun and want to see me talk about how that gun came into existence, I'll put it that way, I may have a video on Rumble on that in the future. Let me know if you guys want to see that. Anyway, that's where it's going to live, and I may put it on any other plinking type gun that's cut for this pattern. It seems to be pretty decent. Would I recommend this optic? Yes. For a range gun, for a plinking gun, I would absolutely buy this red dot. It is significantly cheaper than a Holosun 407K. This goes for $190 on either their website or Amazon. Again, guys, if you use the code OutdoorC10, you can get 10% off of this optic, which is about 19 bucks, and that is good on Amazon only. At that price, I think this optic is a really good deal. The lowest price I've ever seen on the Holosun 407K is $300. So if you use my code, you can get this optic for just a little over half that price. And I think that's a pretty good deal. And for even that $190 price point, I think this is a pretty good value. After having tried it out, I absolutely would purchase it for that price, for the purposes that I've already said. So thank you, Cyelee, for sending this out. I have really enjoyed testing it. I'm gonna continue enjoying it into the future. Cyelee does make several other optics, including a large Trijicon SRO type optic that I would like to try out in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this review. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I would really appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching, and thanks again to Cyelee for sending this out for review. Y'all have a good one.